Today we're going to talk about the adding and subtracting of powers. So 3 to the power of 4 plus 2 to the power of 3. We have two separate powers here, and there are no real rules for adding and subtracting of powers. Once again, there are no rules for adding and subtracting of powers. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find the standard form, which is the answer, of 3 to the power of 4, which means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. You're then going to add 2 to the power of 3, which is 2 times 2 times 2. You'll do this multiplication. You'll perform this multiplication, and then you'll add them together. 3 to the power of 4 is 81. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. And when we add them together, we get 89. Once again, there are no rules for adding and subtracting of powers. So another couple examples. 3 to the power of 3, which is 3 times 3 times 3. A lot of students make the mistake of thinking 3 to the power of 3 is equal to 9 because they're multiplying the base and the exponent. That is not how that works. We need to remember that, as in the last slide, 3 to the power of 4 is 3 multiplied by itself 4 times. This is going to be 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. 2 to the power of 3 is not 6. It is 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2 again, which is 8. And then we add them together to get 35. Another way of looking at this is 3 plus 2, all in brackets, cubed. We'll do what's in brackets first. Now there are rules that will allow us to distribute that 3, the cubed, into the brackets. That is only when this is multiplication or division. Once again, there are no tricks or no fast ways for adding and subtracting of powers. We'll do what's in brackets first. 3 plus 2 is 5. We'll cube that. Remember, this is not 5 times 3. This is 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. And then we have one that's a little bit more complicated. We have brackets, we have more brackets, and then once everything in the brackets are done, we need to square it. So we look here, we'll deal with this first. BEDMAS says we deal with brackets first, and inside the brackets we have to deal with exponents next. So this is going to be 2 multiplied by negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9, and another negative 3, which is negative 27. And then we're going to minus 6. And we haven't done anything with the square yet, so we're just going to leave it. Next thing we do is, we starting from the left, we go to the right. We do all the multiplication and division. So we have multiplication here. So 2 times negative 27 is negative 54. Minus 6. Here's the minus 6 there. And again, we haven't done anything with the square yet, not till last. Inside the brackets, negative 54 minus 6 is minus 60 squared. And now this means minus 60 times minus 60. A negative and a negative is a positive, and 60 times 60 is 3,600. The biggest mistake that we find with students is they take this number and they multiply it by 2. This is not what this means. This means negative 60 multiplied by itself twice. So negative 60 times negative 60 is positive 3,600. And we'll do this one as well. So we have some exponents here, some brackets, and we have division. We'll do brackets first, and then we'll deal with all the exponents next, and lastly we'll deal with the division. So we'll start with here. 18 times 18 is 324, plus any number raised to the power of 0 is going to be 1, so 5 raised to the power of 0 is 1. So we have 324 plus 1 And then over here we have negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5, which is a negative 125. That goes there. Now we still have to deal with the brackets, so 324 plus 1 is 325 squared. Squared here is, the square has to be there. We haven't dealt with the square yet. We brought down the negative 125. Our next step is we have to deal with the squaring because it's an exponent. We must do all exponents before we do divisions, order of operations. 325 times 325 is 105,625. And then we have division, and then 125 again. 105,625 divided by negative 125 is a negative 845. So again, the rules of adding and subtracting of powers means whatever we have, we just convert back to its standard form, which is the answer, and we do the operations. There are no tricks and there are no shortcuts like there are with multiplication and division.